Hello everyone, welcome to the Nerd Herd Comic Book Club. Usually I have something sarcastic to say, but this time I don't. My name is Scott and I'm joined by the boys as usual, Shane.
Oh, hoi hoi.
And Philip.
Hello.
Today we are reading Chew, Volume 1, Taster's Choice. From Image Comics, written by John Layman and art by Rob Guillory. Guillory?
Guillory?
Guillory? Guillory.
Guillory? Yes. There we go. So we are reading Chew, and before I get onto the synopsis, I will say hi to seeming quite bare today. We've got the Funky Gibbons in, hi ho, and we've also got Martin in as well. Evening all. Seems like a thin crowd today, but hopefully we'll thicken out later on. But
We'll
yeah,
fill up on viewers as we
go.
go.
Fantastic. So yes, if anyone hasn't read this book and wants to understand what it is, then Shane gives a little inclination there. So this is a story about Tony Chew. He is a Cibopath, and he's in the employ of the Special Crimes Division of the US FDA. He's a very special agent, and he's able to get psychic impressions from whatever he eats. And as bad as things have been, it's always going to get worse in this story. It just seemed to kind of snowball. So yes, that is the gist of Chew.
Can you pronounce that word again? What he is? What's he called?
I've always in my head I've said it as Cibopath.
Okay, but like you say that as if it's normal. Is this a thing? Like,
I have no idea. I've not looked into it.
It sounds like you're really confidently saying that it's a real thing. That if I eat something, I'm gonna know like where you've been, what you've been at, and who you've killed. And so on. Yeah.
I mean, who knows? We'll have to look into it. Did John Layman make up this, or was it a real term?
Let's have a quick look.
Let's have a quick look.
You also forgot the idea of chicken prohibition.
Yes.
Like
so so this story is a bit weird. It kind of begins and it says like bird flu happened. It killed like 116 million people in the world, and they're blaming chickens and they banned chickens, and they then made a replacement called chicken but spelled Y-N instead of E-N, and then chicken became a thing on the black market.
I pronounce that as chicken.
Chicken. Okay, Shane, do you want to kick us off? Do you want to tell us what you thought of the book initially?
I bloody loved it. I had so much fun reading this. I thought it was funny. I thought it was clever. I thought it was interesting. I was going to say unique, but while talking to my other half, I realised this is quite similar to iZombie, who eats brains to solve crimes. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I thought it was great. Good pick, Scott. Well done. You can retire now.
Yes.
It's been a long time since I said that.
I know. The reason I picked it was because I've seen, Dean, who used to be on the show, he was posting reviews of every volume of this story. So I read his review for the first one. I thought that sounds really cool. And then after that, I didn't read the reviews. I just looked at the stars that he was giving it. I was like, this seems quite consistent and this seems quite good. I didn't want to read the reviews. I didn't want to spoil anything for myself. And then Triple G, good old P, he loves a good story. And when he said that he enjoys this, then obviously I thought it was a no-brainer. Liam is jumping in. He said he thought it was pronounced Cibopathic.
That's what I was taking from it. But I just wanted to know if it's a real word, just in case like there's some sort of mystical or some sort of cult of people out there who think they can do these kind of things.
Well, the word at the beginning must have something to do with food, mustn't it? It's got to be something to do with eating, edible. It's like if you search that word, it's going to have something to do with that. Just like pyrokinesis and tactile telekinesis. So,
see, reading this first issue, by the way, like I straight away knew this would be up Shane's street. Kind of government conspiracy comedy. It kind of I just knew that like the avian or what's the word, the bird
Bird
flu,
flu.
whatever. Yeah. And the government are telling you this. I say, hey, Shane's going to love this. He's going to love this. So he is because of that. But also the art. Like, I think the art's fantastic in that kind of sketchy, crooked style. But it also reminded me of Kaiju Score was very
Yes.
similar.
Yeah.
Yes.
I knew you were a big fan of that. So that was my first initial thoughts. The thing about Chew, it's kind of been on my radar the whole time I've been in comics. Like, it was one of the first books I was recommended. It's like a fun, I don't want to say throwaway, but like not too serious, nothing you delve into too deeply. It's just a good, fun story. And Rob Guillory or Gilroy, whatever it's pronounced, he draws and writes a book called Farmhand, which I collect in single issues, which is obviously similar art style. It's his art style, but the same kind of wackiness, the same kind of idea. And I just think that they have these like silly ideas, and they're just running with it. Like the idea of like, you can taste someone's blood and just like discover like all the people he's killed and where he's hiding the bodies and who they are and where they're from and so on. This is what comics is about, surely.
Of course it is. It's like, it was a really fun concept, wasn't it? And it was totally just a wild ride from start to finish. I thought like each issue was just totally mental, and if you look at where you start and you look at where it ends, you're like, how did he manage to fit all this mental stuff in between? One thing that Shane and I picked up, Phil unfortunately didn't, was the fact that everyone's name had some sort of food related thing in there. Shane, you wrote a list down, didn't you?
I did, yes. I wrote a list of all the characters. So you have Mason Savoy, obviously Savoy cabbage. D-Bear, his name is Deshaun Berry, which again, obviously. Chew's boss is called Mike Appleby. One of the victims that we find out quite early on is Elizabeth Bacon. His love interest is Amelia Mintz, Mints. Another victim is, the killer's name is Tracy Lee Cobb in a Cobb salad.
Yeah.
And another victim later on in the book who loses a finger and we later find out is dead is Evan Pepper. So every character has food in their name somewhere.
And then talk about the planet, because you were the only one to look into this.
Nerd.
So there's a telescope in Russia that's paid for by Russia and the US, and its sole job is to look at this one planet. That's it. And the planet it's looking at is called Attilas 738. And I assumed it was food related, so I looked it up. And Artocarpus attilus is the Latin name for a breadfruit. So it was named after a fruit, this planet. Whatever that is.
Kudos to you for looking that up, but also kudos to John Layman for deciding everything that has a name, I'm gonna somehow incorporate a food in with that name. But this is the cool thing. Like Phil now and Connie as well, she's in as well. She said she didn't notice that either, so it must have been done. Like, it is quite natural, to be honest. And I think the fact that Amelia, her surname Mintz, is spelt with a Z at the end, so that's like one other thing to throw you off. And if you don't know these foods, like if you don't know what a Savoy cabbage is, you're not going to pick up that Savoy is a food and stuff like that. And that Attilis one, no way.
Yeah. Well, there is another one. Another victim was called Pam Whitaker, and Pam is a spray oil that you get to cook your food in. So I just want to throw that one in there as well.
Too far. We've got Kev as well. He's just said, popping in to say hello. He will catch us on the rewind. Thank you very much, mate. See you later. And Blue Sonic as well. He was saying this reminded him of Kaiju Score 2. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I was reading it and I was like, this is like something. But I'm really glad you've brought it up. And that was definitely what I was trying to remember. So I kind of wrote in my notes, it is quite unique art, and I know we've seen it in Kaiju Score as well, similarly, but it's unique, but not in a bad way. I thought it really kind of suited the style of the story, and I really loved how it was like gross in some parts, like at the start of issue 2, where the old woman's complaining about her burger, and he goes to like pick his nose, and it's just like a big blob of snot on the end of his finger, and it's quite graphic. And I like to read these while I'm eating my lunch in work, and
Wrong.
yeah, I had to just put my food down for a little bit while I was reading those bits there. But yeah,
But
quite
the first issue starts with a clerk at a mall spitting in a coffee as well. So like
Yeah.
they both start really gross.
yeah.
It just kind of reminds me of that like Cartoon Network kind of vibe. You know, even with the grossness, like again, like Rocco's Modern Life and Ren and Stimpy, that kind of idea of the big booger and the snot and stuff, and even obviously you see other things throughout the whole book, and there's a lot of blood as well at times, also, and rotting flesh at times. It's quite gross, but like comical. It's comical.
Yeah.
Connie says that some of the art was brutal. The decomposing finger sent her over the edge. As in what? To the point of putting it down? Like, just too
What
much?
part? Just looking at the finger or watching him eat the finger? Because they're two separate scenes that were
stop.
both gross.
And ate the finger when he didn't even have to, because they already ID'd the finger.
That was
Andy
wrong.
is in. Evening, guys. Thank you for joining, mate. Yeah. And Connie says she apologises for not sending a page in. She only just finished the book 15 minutes ago.
So did I.
So
Give or
well
take.
done. Well done. Does anyone notice how muted the colours looked in this? Like, nothing was really vibrant, was it? It was all quite toned down a bit.
I didn't notice, but now you've mentioned it, yeah, I kind of. You're right. It doesn't pop at all, does it?
No, I'm trying to think. Is that because of like we're living through like the drab detective life, you know? Because whenever you read or see like detective type things, they're always kind of slightly dulled down. Do you know what I mean?
Like,
Is it trying to match that?
like the crime noir kind of feel to the book. Is that what you think?
Well, yeah. I just mean just the fact that
The only parts that really had colour were the parts with Amelia.
Yeah, that's true.
Bright pink and the love hearts and stuff.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
notice until you just mentioned that. But yeah, I can't think of any bright pages or panels
No.
now. Thanks,
I mean,
Scott.
they're also trying to portray this kind of way of living. I mean, they don't have their KFC, so they're going to be miserable. If you can't get a KFC popcorn chicken meal, like, you would be quite sad and depressed and stuff, wouldn't you?
When his brother was making that, was it a chicken soup or something? And he's like using the chicken alternative. He's like,
Yeah.
I meant to say this is going to taste the same, but it's terrible. All of you could go F yourselves. He's like, F the government, F this, F that. Proper goes into one over chicken. And I'm like, I like chicken, but I don't think I'd go that crazy if there was no chicken in the world.
But if you were denied it by the government, Shane, you would be all over that.
I'd be the guy at the beginning hiding the breast and the drumsticks under his jacket as he
You'd be
comes
the one
running out.
panic buying. Yeah, Connie agrees. The snot was vibrant, but the rest of the colours were kind of dull, and it gave her like crime noir vibes. And she says she wouldn't mind being in this world. She doesn't eat chicken. She would thrive.
Wow.
How does she not eat chicken? I don't understand.
Maybe she's a vegetarian or vegan.
I don't understand.
Oh.
What's that? What is that? That's someone that just eats beef.
Don't get him
Okay.
started. Don't get him
Right.
started.
I know you're a boomer. It's fine.
Boomer.
Shall we? Well, sorry. One thing I really, really liked about this art, it wasn't really the art, really. It was more the sound effects. It was, for some reason, I really noticed them. They popped out a lot, and even the speech bubbles as well, where they were cold and they had like the icicles coming off them. I thought that was really cool. I took a little screen grab of the sound effects, like the page which I thought had the most sound effects. So here's this. I just love how they were all slightly like gradiented. You know what I mean? They're all like different colours. They all look awesome. And they really popped out. I thought that was really good.
Yeah. Now you say about the colours, you can totally see. Yeah, I didn't notice that with reading it, but yeah.
I feel like I need to read this again.
Did you not read this?
Yeah, I don't think I noticed the colours as much. I think because it was so consistent throughout, I didn't feel like anything was missing. So I think that was on me. Nice catch, though.
Thank you very much. I mean, you did say earlier on that you read this in an hour. Like you told us on the WhatsApp, but you read this in like an hour.
Yeah, it's a really quick read.
It's a quick read, but should have stayed for the details, man.
Well, I did. How do you think I got everyone's name down and I
Oh yeah, sorry.
got all my food puns?
Yeah, you spent all your time just
researching,
just googling names.
And I had to get the Google translator out at one point to read the Russian because I didn't know they were going to put the translations at the end of the bloody book.
I did the exact same thing.
Why would you do that? Just put an asterisk and just put translated from Russian. That's all you have to do. Don't make me get to the end of the book.
I didn't do any of this. I just assumed we were not meant to know. They're just talking Russian to one another.
No.
So I didn't.
The end of the book.
Yeah. So I've missed about 2 pages worth of story. There we go.
No, like honestly, it's nothing. Like nothing. It's nothing like of note to the story.
It is because it shows that Mason is not working for the government. He says I'm my own boss. He's like, I don't work for the man. I'm my own boss. And it's like, oh, that would have given you a clue that he was going to turn a good few pages before it actually happened.
For fuck's
sake. Oh, man. Okay, should we get to our page then?
Yes.
Let's have a look at our pages. Okay, first up, we got Shane. Tell us about your page.
So I love like the background jokes that they put in books, you know, like in Snot Girl and in Sex Criminals. My pages were because of the background jokes, and I really like this page. It's set at McBeefy Burger, and if you look at the sign right here, where are we? Here. The N is missing from "Come Dine with Us," and it says "Come Die with Us." I thought that was a nice little touch. And then down here, there's a sign on the wall that says their food is made with 98% fat, which just made me laugh quite a bit. I really enjoyed that.
This page also offended me because in the shop window, a sign for sausage roll, but it does not look like a sausage roll. It's like they just don't get it. It's like they don't know what a real sausage roll is.
Oh god, it just looks like they've wrapped like a little bit of pastry around
like a frankfurter, like a frankfurter,
yeah. Like a pig in a blanket. Yeah,
that's not a sausage roll, guys. Sorry, massive fail.
Ruined. 1 out of 10. Okay, Phil, over to you.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the art was fairly good throughout. I quite liked it, and I wanted to capture that speech bubble effect that you were referring to with it, you know, being cold and stuff. Like obviously his tone was kind of cold, or that's what it's trying to portray. But I just thought this was quite cool and funny at the time. So they were going to retrieve this body, and obviously I assumed to eat on it and get some answers, but they had already cremated the body. So, and this woman, forget her name, but her attitude was stinking. So he turned on the fan, opened the urn, and then obviously all the human bone dust, whatever you want to call it, has been pushed all over the room. But I thought this was quite cool the way you see it kind of thick and then kind of dies down slightly, and you can see like a clearer picture. But even the pages that follow this, that they're still white, covered in the dust, whilst walking around like the normal, everyone else who's colourful. I thought it was pretty cool.
This was my second page pick. This was my number 2 page. Yeah.
It was really funny because she was like, you can do anything you want with this.
Oh, can I? And he, yeah. See, it's funny pages like that I enjoy in a book. It doesn't take anything out of it, doesn't bring the story to a stop, but it just helps you just enjoy it just a little bit more, doesn't it?
100%. So the reason why I've picked this book, Dean is here. He is the reason why I've picked this book. He says, "Hey guys and girls, nice to see Chew on the list this week. I've recently read the whole thing and would wholeheartedly recommend reading on. The whole thing connects and there's no separate story arcs really." That's awesome. Cool. I think the last thing I read, which was like a connecting story over the whole thing, was The Wicked and the Divine. And I absolutely loved how that read out the whole thing. So if that's the same thing, then I think I'm even more up for it to carry on reading, to be honest.
There's quite a lot of volumes. Is it 13?
10?
Is it 10 volumes?
Yeah, because I think, well, I hope I'm right. I think there's 10, and then it carries on again with another story called Chew, like CHU.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know how far that along is at the
Well,
moment.
they did mention there was 3 of those Cibopathics, whatever they're called, isn't there? There's 3
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
So could be the other person.
Dean also says, if I had to bite anyone here, it'd be Phil. You know he's got secrets.
I do have secrets, but I also think I would be the tastiest, if I'm being honest.
I agree.
Just throw me on a spit roast of our barbecue and you're good.
Alan G is here as well. Hey, buddy. Thank you for joining. Lovely to see you. Right. Sorry, I've nearly forgot to do my page then. Okay, here's my pick. This is when... this is when... sorry, that's done me in. When did this happen? This is where, like, Amelia Hart... No, Amelia Hart, sorry. Amelia Mint. Amelia Hart. Amelia Mint, she is... her kind of organisation is being run... taken over, isn't it? And she kind of saves the day by using her special ability, which is describing food so vividly you will either love it or you will hate it. And so to stop the bad guys from shooting anyone, she stands in the middle of them and recites a review she has recently done, and makes everyone vomit because of how vivid her description is. And I just love this because Tony Chu, he's obviously found the love of his life, and he's so infatuated with her, he is totally ignoring the fact that he's getting spewed on. I just think it's brilliant. Like, you know, you can even see like the cigarette from the guy's mouth, you know, popping up at the top of the vomit, the chunks and everything. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I thought it was brilliant.
It's one of those ones that's gross, but like say brilliant. Gross but brilliant.
Yeah. I think also the cool thing about Amelia was, well, the clever thing with the writing was when they were saying that she was reciting the review that she had written, and, you know, she was describing it so terribly that everyone is starting to feel sick or whatever, but you never actually know what she says. And I think that's clever because no matter what would have been written, like, we us as readers, we would have never had that reaction. We would have never have gone to throw up anywhere. So it was definitely the smart move to keep it, you know, to your imagination, really, isn't it? And that's you know, and sometimes for situations like that, that is the best way to write a situation. So yeah, I thought that was really clever, and I like that.
Yeah, nothing's ever going to beat what you can come up with in your own head, is it? For what she said there.
Yeah, exactly.
I do like that her power doesn't affect Tony as well, which is a nice little thing they've added.
Because he can't taste nothing apart from beets.
No, actually, that's not true. Her ability does work on him because he reads all her reviews and he says how he finally got to taste foods he's never tasted. But then when she's saying that, he doesn't throw up. That's weird.
Just loves it, doesn't he?
It's just love what it is. Yeah.
He's just happy to sort of taste anything, I guess. Highland G is also recommending reading on, but also it can get a little bit repetitive, such as I Hate Fairyland, so it did tail off.
Block Highland G. Block him now.
It did tail off for him as the book went on. Lots of repeating gags and jokes.
I can imagine there's only so many food puns you can use, you know, like before you start repeating yourself. Yeah.
I think it depends. Depends what floats your boat, really, isn't it? So, you know, Dean says he's loved it and really enjoyed it. Didn't say anything about repetitiveness, but Highland G did. So different strokes for different folks, I guess. So you know, if you have read and this does appeal to you, then, you know, carry on. Just if you like it, carry on in it. Just read what you like.
And just for the record, I think I enjoyed this more than I Hate Fairyland. Triggered.
Me too. Me too. Wait there. Trigger warning, everyone.
Trigger.
Shane's gonna let loose.
I'm going to send an email.
So Phil, what did you think of the writing?
Did you ask me directly there? Sorry.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Phil.
Again, I mean, apart from missing the obvious, like the food names and things, I didn't really see anything overly clever in terms of like. It's just the story moved along. It was nice. It didn't drag it down. There wasn't a lot of kind of stuff to explain. Like even at the first page, or the first page of each issue, they were kind of explaining this is Tony. This is what he does. He has this power. He does this. Blah blah blah. He eats an apple. Knows what tree it came from. That kind of stuff. Like it didn't have to explain anything, which I quite liked. You don't need to. It's a silly concept. It's meant to be silly and comical, and that's it. And I thought the comedy was done really well. And even the idea, like I know, Scott, sometimes you say about you discuss these books with your pal at work. And I would wonder, like, what like a normal person would think of this book. Like, here's a book about, somebody like, eats somebody and eats like a dog and knows everything about that dog and that person and so on and so forth. And they solve crimes. It's like Sherlock Holmes, but like he's hungry, And then
Sherlock Holmes with the munchies.
Yeah, yeah. But then wait, there's more. They've banned chickens. It's chicken prohibition. Like it's like where's the moonshine? It's just like it's such a weird concept. Like this is a comic book for people who appreciate the comic book medium, if you know what I mean. And I quite like the way it was done. It's not meant to be too serious. It's a comic book.
Me too. Going back to you saying that I like to talk about these to my mate in work, I did talk about this to my mate in work today, and he came up with a question, which I just had to ask. I have to ask this here with you boys now. When he eats something from a person, what we were seeing, I'm imagining we were seeing like his. We were seeing what he was seeing, right? And it was like in third person. So if he's eating like the finger of you, Shane, right? If he's eating your finger, but in his memory, when he's seeing the stuff, he is seeing you from third person, like not seeing out of your eyes. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's not point of view. I thought it was point of view though.
I thought, especially with the Evan Pepper stuff.
Was he the one that was cremated? Who was cremated? No, that was like the councillor or something.
That was Senator Ham Anderson.
But that person, all he's seen was fire and sack. So obviously the senator was having sack, and then the fire is the whole idea of being cremated. So it looked like in those images, like it was his point of view, I suppose. But you're right, because like even the idea of like tasting the blood of the serial killer, like you knew all the details. So maybe it's not fully explained that you see things in a certain point of view. You just pick different things up, maybe. It's not from third person.
It is like a psychic ability, isn't it? So maybe it just does what it wants. But yeah, that was just something I wanted to ask. I was like, now we've established that it kind of goes. It was first person with the fiery sex scene, and then third person with Evan Pepper. So maybe it is just whatever the psychic ability wants to give him, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think I noticed, because I thought when he eats the finger and you see Evan, I thought he saw. No, yeah, you're right. You see Evan sitting at the table losing his finger.
Yeah.
But then later, when he eats the guy that killed Evan, or that cut his finger off, he sees Evan again. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is third person now that you mention it.
Yeah, sorry, I've stumped everyone. Hopefully, Dean or Highland G can clarify it for us. But Highland G is saying, he's not seeing the person or animal's memories so much as seeing the overall history of what he's eating.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah. And
that explains why it's not first person.
Yeah, and then Leah said, wasn't it said that it was more of a feeling of memories / events rather than actually seeing it?
Mm-hmm.
But like, even if it was a memory, like if it's my memories are first person. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
but he's
don't
not
know.
seeing a memory; he's seeing the history of it. So it's like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
suppose it's the universe giving him the image.
Yeah. And then
Well, everyone's
Dean
got a
is
drone that follows them around.
Dean is saying that he thinks the third person was for illustration purposes to show the reader.
Oh, we've got contradictions then.
Yeah. Ooh, dun, dun, dun. Who knows? Who knows? What else did you think of the story overall?
I really appreciated that it started out, and the first time we meet John Chu, he's on a stake out. I thought that was a nice way to start the book out.
Yeah.
What a great way to start.
I'm missing all these. Like,
you don't even like food.
my belly would say otherwise.
No, Shane doesn't even
Oh,
like
Shane,
food.
he doesn't like
And
food. That's right.
And he's picking up all these food puns.
I love a good pun. I'm a sucker for a pun. And when he starts his new job and he gets all the files and he's like, "Oh, these are going to be hard to digest," and his boss is like, "Taking a piss." I really enjoyed all the puns in the book.
It was fun.
There's certain things too that, like the boss, for example, didn't like the guy, and it never. I'm not saying it needs to explain why he doesn't like him, but give us something. Like, maybe he's like, slept with his wife or something. Just give us a reason to hate the guy. He didn't really.
Because he was a Cibopath, wasn't it? It was just because he knew
no
what
one
he was.
liked them. No one that worked there liked them.
I suppose you're right, because they mentioned later on down the line whenever he was picking up the evidence box that someone else was trying to slag off these special people who could do this and do this, whatever. And so maybe you're right, they don't like them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I do think it was a little bit inappropriate having John Chu eat a dog, though.
Yes.
Having your Asian character eat a dog in your book is a little bit insensitive.
Wow. I haven't even thought of that. But the thing is,
mate, isn't it?
what I don't understand is that in that aspect of the dog, so Mason Savoy ate the dog because he wanted to see what people were coming in and out of that apartment. So why did he keep it? Why did he evidence? Why did he bag it and then keep it? For future reference. It's like, surely that's a way. That's how it got cut out. So why is it in the evidence bag? Just dispose of it.
Because they keep everything. They say that at the start that they keep everything, and if there's some record of him having a dog, it would have been suspicious if he hadn't brought the dog back. So he still had to keep his cover.
But it was in a red box as well. Like, it's just like the most identifiable box. It's like if you were playing a video game, for example, you're scrolling through the universe and you see something out of the ordinary from everything else, you need to go searching in that box. You know what I mean? It's like,
you may as well have put neon arrows pointing, "Come look at this one here."
Yeah, exactly. But again, if he didn't find the box, then we wouldn't have conclusion to this arc. I'll just go on and on and on. So yeah, fine.
Yeah, that's true. I want to come back to what I said earlier about how this was a totally mental ride and just so much happens. And I think for me, the peak of this was when they were in the telescope building, and you had
the observatory,
bikini-clad Russian ladies shooting AK-47s, and there's a llama there, and everything's just everyone's come to snow. They got a bar full of alcohol. They're just doing drugs and drinking, and they're supposed to be looking at this planet. And it was just I was like, what the hell is going on? This is mental.
I thought it was a money laundering thing, right?
Yeah.
So I thought they were sending them excess money, and then they were sending it back to Senator. But they were keeping the excess money because they were like, it only costs $4 million a year to keep this place running, and they send us $50 million. So we just buy whatever we want, and now we're bored. And it's like, what?
It is mental. So for anyone who hasn't read, I'll give you some clarification. I took a screenshot of the aftermath of the fight that goes on in the observatory, and
I was almost on this page myself as well because it's just hilarious.
Yeah, it is just so much going on. This is one of those things that you just look at it and you just see more and more and more. What's that chicken doing in the bottom right corner?
There's also granny porn on the magazines on the floor. I can't remember the name at the top of my head, but it's basically a porn mag of grannies. So
so weird, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a wild ride. And then was it after all that had happened, you see that something, the planet that they're watching, we get like a page or two on the planet that they're watching, the Attilis, was it 782 or whatever it was, and
The bread planet.
the bread planet, and it just gets totally destroyed. Like, it shows that there's life on it, and then all of a sudden it's just obliterated. And I'm assuming that was what they were supposed to be watching for.
Or were they stopping it from blowing up by doing something with the telescope? Like, they were slightly moving it each time? Was it the fact that it was pointing at them that set their planet on fire?
Yeah, because the planet all of a sudden, like, it got brighter, like as if, like, the flames are coming. So maybe that telescope,
like magnifying glasses.
Yeah, like it mentioned about the size of the mirror that they would look to show it and stuff. So maybe there's something in that. Yeah.
Maybe they were supposed to like move the telescope every evening so the sun doesn't reflect its rays directly at this poor planet. And because they killed everyone at the observatory, whoops.
Oops.
It's only a civilization. It doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah. And I don't know if this is like a joke or my being silly. Like, it was 24 light years away.
Yeah.
Not 24 million light years. 24 light. Do you know what I mean? Like, is that
on purpose? Wasn't that far, was it?
I mean, I'm not saying I can walk or anything, but I'm just,
I mean, it's going to take you 24 years at light speed, which we don't have at the moment, so it's a long way away.
I know, but it's just like you never say 24 light years, you say 24 million light years. That's usually, if you're watching like a space program,
I get it. But yeah, I just thought this was just, I'll say it again, this was a wild ride.
From start to finish. I mean, starts off with we're just doing a normal stakeout to see if anyone's got some chicken. We'll find a serial killer. Serial killer will attack my partner. I'll join the FDA. I'll fight the Yakuza. I'll go to Russia and fight some Russian models. It just seems like an Austin Powers movie, the way it progresses.
Yeah. It's just mental, and I loved it. I loved the ride. It was really good fun. And I do really want to read on, even though I am seeing in the comments now, Highland G is saying that for him it was the intros that he was getting really tired of, the intro pages. And Dean said he was getting tired of all the puns and he was praying for the puns to end. So, maybe if you are going to read this, maybe read it like one book a month. You know what I mean? One volume a month. But Dean has confirmed that there are 10 for this. 10 volumes for this story.
I don't know if I can do 10 volumes of food puns.
This is the thing. I mean, I could see it having 10 volumes, like, for the kind of the overall connecting story, certainly. But you also have to fill it in with some puns. Like, you couldn't lose that aesthetic, like, still continue the story without the puns. So I get why they have it. But again, until obviously we read on, and going by Dean and Highland G, they're saying that it's got legs. It can go for the 10 volumes and still be enjoyable. But if you take all the puns away, even though they were sick of them, would it have the same impact? So I feel like you kind of have to accept them almost. Yeah. Still sick of them, but you accept them because you want to get to the end of the story. And that's what is good for me in terms of if they've read on, they've read to the end, they've stuck it out, and they're saying it's worth it with the puns. So it must be good.
Yeah, no, I agree. I am looking forward to reading on, definitely. Connie said she really enjoyed the book. It was a good story and it was a good introduction to the world. That's what she thinks.
Yeah, it was.
Dean is replying to you as well. If you like Volume 1, you'll love the rest. So let's just strap in now, boys. There we go. The next 9 episodes from us is just going to be Chew. That'll be...
So you'll read 10 Chew volumes, but you won't read any more Batman? What?
Nah. Done with Batman. The one thing, like, I was trying to think of, like, what questions do I have? Because I know this is such a big story. What questions do I have from this volume that I would like to be answered? And one of the probably the minor ones, but it's really, like, in my head, is what the hell was that fruit that guy was showing the security guard to show to Amelia Mintz?
It was an Attila 738.
There was a page where it must have been the scene whenever they're held at gunpoint and she done her whole big thing, whatever. So your man Chew's at the front, and in the background you've seen the guy approach her again with the box. Then you see another panel of her looking at the box, and then the next panel they're away. So she's obviously intrigued what it is herself. And of course, you see them in a limo or a plane or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, they're in a plane. Yeah.
Yeah, but on a plane. So you're right. That's obviously something I want to know what it is. Like they've laid that seed. I want to see where that goes.
Yeah.
But also,
fruit pun.
I didn't even mean to do. But that guy, by the way, who held that box was a creepy looking guy.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He was really creepy looking. I mean, I'm not trying to offend anybody. He doesn't look like one I know, but he was just creepy. I just didn't like the look of him.
Dead ringer for that old actor. What's his name? I did have to look him up because he was so familiar from the old timey like black and white movies. Peter Law. You probably would have recognized him. You would have seen him in cartoons and stuff. Can you see?
Oh, okay.
This guy,
Okay.
Peter Law. He's an old like black and white film actor. That's who I thought he was modelled after when I read it.
Sorry, Peter, for calling you creepy, but this guy was creepy.
So, is there anything that you're like dying to have answered, or things that you're hoping that will be explained more in the story?
See, I really liked Mason Savoy. I just thought he was cool.
Badass.
And obviously it turns out he was somewhat the villain of this story, but his story overall doesn't seem like villainous. Obviously, it's for the greater good. He's willing to sacrifice some people for the greater good, which is obviously due to the bottom of the conspiracy. What he thinks it is anyway. And I think that, am I right? Was it his wife died? Is that right? His wife, or so he has his own motivations. And there was a scene where he's like wearing like a biker jacket and whatever else. He just looks like he's cool, and I want to see more of him and what his story is, and I hope he goes the whole 10 volumes as well. Because the scene where he came in with like the ninja, I don't know what they're called, like Raphael's weapons. What are they called? Sai. And then he's throwing the ninja stars. He was cool, and he was huge. Kind of reminded me of me a little bit. Like cool guy, funny, can fight.
Handsome as hell.
Handsome. He had a mustache though. I struggle with a mustache. He had a good mustache.
You know, there's always room for improvement, isn't there? You can always, because there's always a goal. So if you can grow the mustache, then you can go to all the Comic-Cons and you can just cosplay as.
That's my cosplay, Mason Savoy. No one probably know who it is because I mean it's not Spider-Man or anything. Like still.
Who's that?
Exactly.
Who's Spider-Man?
Oh, okay. But yeah, Mason Savoy is cool. I want to see more of him. Yeah. But I also kind of want to see, there's still unanswered stuff, like even with the brother. I forget his name. Chow?
Yeah, Chow.
His name? Still
Chew and Chow, aren't you?
Yeah.
Chow down. Chow. Food. Chow.
See,
another food pun. Yeah, it's there.
God help us. But yeah, this is for the first volume of the book, and with it being 10 volumes, I think they've laid the groundwork really well to want you to read on. There's enough here to kind of keep people interested to see where the story goes, because other than explaining what Chew can do, nothing has happened in terms of like changing anything, and like the banning of chickens or the bird flu. There's no explanations here at this point, so yeah, I want to see all that.
Yeah, hopefully the government will get found out that it was a conspiracy, and there's a massive like reason why chicken is banned and was bird flu manufactured, and all this kind of stuff. So it'd be really interesting to read on and see how it goes.
But these kind of stories probably fuel like conspiracy theorists in real life. Just replace the bird flu with COVID and stuff. Is it manufacturers, the government trying to control us? What we're going to ban? So yeah, this is the kind of stuff that fuels Shane.
For everyone listening on the podcast, I'm just subtly pointing at Shane every time he mentions anything about conspiracy theories.
What I'm interested in, at the end when Savoy takes Chew's ear, obviously he says it's to get his secrets, to find out his family so he can hurt them. But I'm wondering, is that when the history of that person stops, now that he's severed the ear? Or because Chew is still alive, if, say, he came up with a plan to stop Savoy and he ate the ear, would he know the plan?
So do you
or
think
is it just from that moment that he took the ear?
So you think there may be some sort of like psychic link between like body and ear? But you're also asking if
that would be quite interesting if he comes up with a plan to stop him and then Savoy takes the nibble of the ear and he's like, haha, I know your plan. That would be quite...
That would be, but then not that any of this makes sense, but like if you remove the ear a year previous, the ear doesn't have memories. It's an ear, you know.
But it's not about memories; it's about the history of the person. And since the person is still alive, does he get the whole history of the person? That's what I'm wondering.
If you think of it this way, the finger, he was able to taste the finger, but couldn't tell where the guy was, or since the finger was severed.
You've been answered, Diego. Hello, thank you for joining. It's only up until he took off the ear.
Oh, good. See, that's good then, because then Chew can come up with plans to stop Savoy, and Savoy won't know. It was just something I wondered.
So whenever the guy lost his finger, they couldn't find him. They couldn't find his body after that. So that does make sense then, because if they're able to find out afterwards where he was, that'd be grand. Yeah, that's good. This isn't a question like I want answered in future volumes. I just kind of want to point out some of the comedy and the things that made me laugh. Like, so at the very start, his partner, who I quite liked, his partner. You know, the first partner he had in the first issue,
John Gilby.
That's the one. Even though they didn't get on and whatever, the fact that he takes like a what do you call those big knives, those big kind of hatchet over there, just to the head. And he still survives, but he was in the hospital bed. This is the point where Chew is kind of telling him this, like he's met this girl, which is like she's so lovely, and tells the whole story, and then realize it's the wrong person in the hospital bed, covered in bandages. And so then he just goes, "Oh, sorry," and then he goes to his partner's thing, goes, "What's up? Long time. What's new? Nothing." He didn't want to tell the story again. It was just, I think about it.
It was good. Just how horrified that guy looked, the original guy. I was like, "Who are you? Like, why are you telling me this? Like, go away." It was just really funny.
But it's also weird that there's two people in the hospital at the same time, like full bandaged. You know.
I thought you were going to say, it's weird that there's two people in the hospital at the same time.
Well, there is. It should be more than two, but you get what I'm coming from. They're fully bandaged up. You know.
Yeah. Any other comedic bits you enjoyed?
Again, you pointed out with your page with the idea of him being in love with your woman, forget her name, Amelia, and then obviously just being sick. Like that kind of made me laugh out loud as well. There was just multiple things, mainly to do with the fact that even like Chew, like he's a police or he's a FDA agent or a police officer, and he just want to be called a cop or an officer, but he's almost a bit, I don't say dumb, but clumsy as a detective and a bit silly. And even the guy with the in the McBeefy takeaway, he thinks he's been really kind of like, what's the word, like, I'm not going to give the cops nothing, you know. And then he walks away. He's with his mates and like, like it's all high. That's all fun.
I really did enjoy that scene where Tony Chu was just turned around and started speaking to Savoy as if it was someone like ordering a hit on the Burger Boy's father. And he was like, "Oh no, it's okay. We'll just kill him. That's fine. We'll just, And he was like, you could see him in the background like freaking out, and I thought that was
he's like, "A bullet to the head. No, take your time." He's like, "No rush." Yeah,
that's hilarious.
I really enjoyed at the beginning when they're doing the stakeout for the chicken place, and Savoy comes, takes over the case, and he says they can go in and eat. And Chew and his partner are in there, and his partner's like, "Don't order a beet salad." He's like, "Just order chicken, otherwise they'll know you're a cop." And he sits down and he orders his fried chicken and his chicken this and chicken legs and chicken everything. And he goes to Chew, "And what would you like?" And he goes, "What's the soup?" And the waiter goes, "Chicken." That did make me laugh. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, so many great comedic moments. I can't think of like any bad things really to say about this story. Like, I don't think in this volume the humor or puns or whatever were too overused. I don't think they were overused at all. But I feel like if they don't think of any more original stuff like this for the future, then we may have the problems that Dean and Highland G have mentioned, that like we may get just either too used to the puns or fed up of them. So at the moment everything's cool, everything's peachy, but I think if we read the whole story, maybe it would drag.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's limited. It's going to be a limited thing in terms of like what they get, how many times can you do it, I suppose. And it's like a fear I have with it in terms of like I don't want to read the whole thing and then start to lose interest. You know, want to be intrigued the whole time, but also want to get the end of the story. And that's something I kind of when I say apprehensive, it sounds so dramatic. I'm so apprehensive about this book. I just mean like it's just something you would think about. Like, does this have legs? And it sounds like it does, which is good.
I definitely think, as a concept, just a person who can psychically see what's happened to the things they've eaten is a great concept. It's really simple, but you can run with it in as many directions as you want, really. And yeah, it's very clever. Very come on.
Why beets? Why can he eat beets and get no psychic flashes?
It's just such boring food, isn't it? I imagine. I think it's just like they just grow, don't they? They just grow out of the ground and people just eat them, and that's it.
I don't know what came out first. Did Chew come out, or did the Office, the US Office, come out? But the fact that if you watch the US Office, Dwight Schrute likes beets and it's a beet farm, like as to his character, because beets is so boring. So anyone who likes beets or eats beets or grows beets, I mean, it's just a character trait which I think is hilarious for no reason other than that. Just throw beets in here.
I mean, I don't eat beets, so I wouldn't know. But
I don't know what a beet is.
Yeah, what are they called in the UK?
Beetroot. Would that be a beet?
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Is that not a beet?
I don't know.
I thought a beet was well, when he's chopping it up at the beginning, it looks like a red beetroot.
That's what I mean. But I don't like my beetroot pickled on the jar.
I would like that answered before the 10 volumes are up. I would like to know why beets have no psychic impact on him at all. Be quite interesting.
Well, Highland G did mention somewhere in the chat before that vegetables don't have memories or feelings, so maybe that's.
But he still sees apples and oranges.
Yeah. Otherwise, he would just be fine as a vegetarian. But
yeah,
but like it was. I think it was interesting because you had him and Savoy. They were both Cibopaths, and Chew didn't want to eat a lot because of all these memories, and he was quite skinny. But then Savoy was really fat. So obviously he didn't have that problem with seeing what he was seeing from the food he was eating. Liam has confirmed for you it is a beetroot as well.
Thank you.
So it's quite interesting that, maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but the psychology behind them both, one is really bothered by what he's seeing and by what he's eating, and the other one just isn't and is just massive.
But the other one has different motivation to try to get to the end of it, so he doesn't care as much.
Yeah,
he wants to get to the bottom of it.
That's true. But did anyone else think Savoy was not that didn't have the same ability as Chew? Because we didn't see him use it, did we?
No,
he just kept mentioning that he had it, and I was like,
yeah.
Maybe he's lying.
Yeah,
because even the dog, he didn't say at that point, whenever he was questioned with the dog, he didn't say he's seen people. He said he went to see if people were coming out of the apartment, and that was Chew. He said it, I think.
Yeah,
like,
we haven't seen him.
You do see him eat people. There's one person he does eat. No, you do. I think it's in the Russian bit, in the observatory. There is definitely one scene where he does eat someone, but I don't think you see him see anything. So is he just putting it on? Is he just eating someone just to save face? And has he kept the ear in a little bag to give to the third Cibopath to kind of get the information from Tony?
Maybe he just had the power, but it's dwindling, so he needs somebody new, i.e. Chew, because it kind of manufactured Chew going on to his force, didn't he? Because he was obviously a normal cop doing a stakeout, and straight away he wanted him on the FDA or whatever it was called, and like he kind of made that happen because he thought there's a guy could do what I could do, but he has his full powers where I don't. Because I think Chew said himself at the start he hasn't really fully realized what he could do.
Yeah,
doesn't fully understand it.
Yeah,
because he does say to him he's strong, doesn't he? Because he when he tastes, who does he eat? Someone, and he gets a single drop of Savoy's blood, and he has the white flash at first, and he doesn't understand what the memory is.
Yeah.
And then later that night he can't sleep, and he sees what Savoy did, and he says, "Wow, you're stronger than I thought you were." He went, there was like a single drop of my blood in there. So yeah, he is strong. But I don't think Savoy has powers. I don't think he does. I think he's a fake. I think he's a charlatan.
I think he's just a cannibal. Just a cannibal.
I don't remember him eating anyone. I'm going to have to go back and have a look.
There's definitely one bit he does eat someone. It's like a purplish looking panel. That's all I can tell you.
I'm going to go back and have a check.
I think it's like issue 3 or 4. Definitely have a look. I'm hoping someone can help me out in the comments, but no one is. Should we go to our thoughts and scores? It is about that time.
Yeah.
Connie is with you there, Shane. I don't think Savoy has powers either.
Nice one. Good.
Right. Get on to thoughts and scores now. You know the score, everyone in the chat. Please do give us your score, and we will add it onto ours. And we will start today with Shane's thoughts, please.
I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed the art. I enjoyed the comedy. I enjoyed the concept. I enjoyed the story, the pacing. There's not much I didn't enjoy in this book. A few minor nitpicks that I wouldn't even bring up because they're so minor. I had such a good time reading this. I mean, I read it in an hour. That's not just because I read fast. It's because I wanted to read on. At no point did I want to put the book down. I wanted to read on, and I was a little bit disappointed when it ended because I could have quite happily read another 2-3 issues in this story arc. We've said everything because we've just been super complimentary because it's such a good book, and I would like to read on, but I think I am going to take my time because I don't want to get tired of the puns because I enjoy a pun so much. Like I love a pun, and this book gave me plenty. So I think this will get better. I love the world, the concept. I'm going to be quite conservative with my score because I can imagine me scoring the second volume higher because the world has already been created. And I think at some point we are going to read the second volume. So I'm going to give this an 8.5. Really enjoyed it.
Conservative score, 8.5.
Sorry, Kingdom Come. What? Content Phil, what do you think? I
am going to give this a conservative score because I think it will get better as also. I feel like this is limited. I know it sounds like I'm dogma. I'm not really enjoyed it, but I think there's so much more to come. So I feel like I can't give it too high of a score because if I really enjoyed it in the line, I don't know if I could ever give this like a 9 or 10 overall because I don't know why. For me, it doesn't fit that kind of criteria. I feel like I enjoy Kingdom Come slightly more than this.
Oh,
but
don't you dare!
But they're two different. They're two different. Yeah, they're completely two different genres.
Yeah,
it's just I can't really compare them. They're not comparable at all. Yeah, enjoy the artwork. I quite like that style. I think it suits the comedy. Again, if you had something too dark or gritty, it just wouldn't work. You have to have this kind of crooked and weird style of art, the kind of grossness of it. And yeah, writing style, story, concept, all good, all enjoyable, all entertaining. And for me, the big thing is like you're going to read on. I feel the same. I'm going to read on. Not yet. When I have time, maybe volume 2 will come some point in the Nerd Herd. But yeah, so I will give this a conservative score of 7.5. That's room for that's room to go up, for the next volumes kind of pick up and stuff. So that's what.
You don't have to justify your score, Phil. You're allowed to score a book whatever you want.
I was hunted down after Kingdom Come just by Shane alone.
Still are, mate. Still are.
Yeah.
Okay, we're still getting some scores in. Let's go ahead and see what everyone has given it so far. So Connie, straight up, I'm going to give this one 7.5. Thank you very much. Hannah G, I give volume 1 an 8. Awesome. Dean, I think as far as first volumes go, this is a damn near perfect for a series like this. 8.5. But he says, but I'd have no problem rounding that up if forced. Was that depending on Phil's score, was it? And then Martin, he says, for a first volume, I really enjoyed it. The story made me laugh at multiple points and has left me feeling like I want to continue on to the next volume. It's a 7.5 from me. Awesome. I'm hoping we get one from Lee. I know Lee's read the book as well, so let's wait for that as well. My views, this was a very cool story. I knew I wanted to read on as soon as issue 1 ended. I knew I wanted to carry on with this. Like Phil said, the art style matches this quite perfectly. It didn't bother me at all, and if anything, I think it kind of marries up quite well to the style of story this is. There's so much praise to be given for this story. We haven't really said a bad word about this. There's so much to question and to ponder and to think about and to hope. I wonder if this will come up in the next volume or in future volumes in the future. And I thought there was an absolute great balance of puns and comedy, and nothing felt overused or too much, like in I Hate Fairyland. But I am also going to be no, I'm not going to be conservative. I'm trying to get away from the thing where we give scores based on if we think it's going to improve or if it's not going to improve. I'm going to give this score the score that this book deserves, in my opinion. I'm trying not to base it on the future or the past or anything. It is an 8.5 from me.
Nice.
We've had 2 more scores in. Comic Bound it's just popped in. Am I here in time for scores? Yes, you are. 8.5 for you. And Liam has said, I really enjoyed this. The art was, I'm going to say, done really well with the toned down colours, with very choice pieces popping out. Story had me thinking, laughing, and just overall enjoyment. Will read on. 7.5.
It feels like it's been a while, Scott. You've had a pick that you've enjoyed the comments from everybody.
He might enjoy the comments, but he's not going to like having to change the leaderboard.
No. Well, will I change the leaderboard? Let's see. So, you guys, with all of your scores, you give it an average of 7.9. Add that on to Phil's 7.5, Shane's 8.5, and my 8.5. This gives us a total score of 8.1.
Ooh.
Does that hit the top 10?
Oh, yes, it does. Let's see where it does come on the top 10.
Whoa.
It pushes down Sex Criminals, Cosmic Ghost Rider, and The Crow, coming in
No
now
way.
at 7th place.
Is that joint 6, isn't it? 8.1 with Kill
Sorry,
Lock.
yeah, joined 6th with the Kill Lock. Yeah, you're right.
Well, nicely done, Scott. Well done.
Thank you very much. And here is the rest of the leaderboard for you all to see as well.
Awesome. You have to change both now.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
This is why he picks bad books every other time. There's less work to do.
Give myself an easy time.
He just wants to get the lowest score every time, so it's just simple.
Just add it at the end. Yeah, that's it. That's all I want to do. But yeah, that is it from us. We will tell you what we've got coming up in a minute. Thank you very much, everyone who has watched. Let me just roll this VT so you can see what we got coming up. Philip, please do us the honours and tell us what you've chosen.
Yeah, we are reading Black Widow, Volume 1. It's from Mark Waid and Chris Samney. This has been on my list to read for over a year, before the Black Widow movie, so we're not too far behind. We'll catch up. But yeah, Black Widow, Volume 1.
Awesome. There we go. Well, I'm hoping everyone is looking forward to that, and we will see you all next week. Same time as usual, same place. The last thing for us to do now is to just wave you all goodbye. Get your waves out. See you soon, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Love you.